I'm becoming a booktuber. Hello guys, it's Katie back with another video, and today I'm going to be giving you 5 books that you must read this summer. We're starting off light, we're starting off easy because these books have left my brain just always thinking about them, and they range. I have a bunch of different authors, a bunch of different genres. These 5 books are 5 out of 5 stars, my best recommendations, and you definitely need to pick them up. If you guys don't know, I'm an avid reader. I love reading, and right now I'm reading so much now that it's summer, and so I have a bunch of books that I'm going to recommend to you guys. And we are going in no particular order because I love all these books so much. I can't put one above the other. Hopefully you haven't read these, and if you have, then maybe you'll get another recommendation because I want you guys to all love reading just as much as I do. And let me know what other books you guys want to do. I'm thinking of doing my least favorite books that I've read recently because I have been disappointed with a few. We're just gonna start. If you guys don't know, I just graduated high school, and the day after graduation I went to the beach and I was there for a week, and I picked up this book before I went because I knew I needed something to read, and this left me in complete and utter shock. I don't think there's another word I can use besides shock because I love this book. This book is Darling Venom by Parker S. Huntington. Wow, it was so amazing. I have seen so many mixed opinions about this book. There's some people that absolutely love it, and there's some people that absolutely hate it. And I actually got this recommendation from Haley Fam. I love her book recommendations because we tend to have the same kind of like reading interests and styles. And so when she recommended this 5 out of 5 stars, I was like, wow, that's a really good recommendation. So I picked it up, and let's just say I was not disappointed. So basically, I'm gonna do my best to describe it without giving any spoilers. This girl and this guy meet on a roof on Valentine's Day, and they're both there for the same reason. It's not a good reason, but they happen to make a pact, and they're really young when this happens, and they make a pact that every single year on Valentine's Day they'll meet on this roof to hold each other accountable. It's very dark. There is a little bit of like twisted things going on. I will say there should be some trigger warnings on this book. They basically start really liking each other, something unfortunate happens, and then the girl is left to figure out life without him. When that happens, she finds his brother, and that's not a spoiler because it says it on the front of the book. It says, "My first love ended in tragedy, my second began with his brother." So she then is trying to navigate dealing with her loss for him with his brother and how that intertwines with them together and pulls them apart and brings it back together. It's amazing. The character development in this book and the way it's written is dark, but it makes you want to keep reading, and then there's such good moments, and I don't know, I've created like a love-hate relationship with all the characters, and in the end I really loved it. So I definitely would recommend picking this up. Through navigating the loss of this boy that she was really close to with his brother, there's also like his dying wish that they come across, and they're just trying to build this relationship between them while still dealing with the loss and the love of this kid that was his brother and her love. So this is an amazing book, Darling Venom. I'm curious to know what you guys have thought if you've read it. I loved it so much. Also, I really liked the way that it was kind of like set up in the book. Don't read anything, just look because I don't want to spoil, but you can see each chapter begins on like these crinkled note pages, so it looks like deep and dark, and it just kind of fits the vibe of the book. Book lovers are gonna hate me for this, but I was reading this so much and so intently that like some of the pages ripped out of the book, but I'm gonna read it again, so I'm leaving it just like this, and Darling Venom is a 5 out of 5 stars for me. Highly recommend. I will say to look at the trigger warnings before you do read it though, because I don't want to recommend it if it's triggering for somebody. Next, we have Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. I love Colleen Hoover. I'm the biggest co-host stan. I have read almost all of her books, not even kidding. If you guys follow my Instagram story, you know I'm always posting about how much I love her books. And I feel like this one was very underrated. I don't know, I haven't seen many people talk about this book when they talk about Colleen Hoover, and considering I've read like 15 of her books, this is in my top like selections of hers. I really enjoyed Regretting You. Oh, my nail. Ugh, driving me crazy, but every girl knows like when you get to that phase of when you just rip all your nails off. They're so ugly right now. Okay, back to the book. This is about a mom and daughter. It's kind of like a mom and daughter trope, and it's written from both of their point of views. Half the book is told from the mom's point of view, half the book is told from the daughter's point of view. You're navigating both of their lives together, but from both different points of view, and they both have like their different characters to each important story, but they're also combined. So the daughter's talking about a boy that she really likes, and the mom doesn't like the boy, but they're telling it from each of their point of view. So I really liked that. Morgan, the mom, gets pregnant with her daughter Clara at a really young age of 16, and she ends up marrying her husband who she got pregnant with, and his name is Chris. And then her sister has a husband and they are best friends. So Morgan and Clara and her husband, and then Morgan's sister and her husband are best friends. They did everything together, they grew up together, they lived really close together, they all did life together. And a really tragic accident happened where Morgan's husband Chris lost his life while he was in the car with her sister, her best friend. Now she's left navigating her life with just her daughter and then her sister's husband. I'm sorry, it's a little bit confusing. They find out some tragic news about what was happening during the time of the accident and how they were together when they both died. There's like this constant tug and pull back and forth between the mom and the daughter about how they're so unalike, how the daughter feels so distanced from her mom and how she feels like she can't turn to her for anything, and her mom just so badly wants them to connect and be together during this really hard period. Through this, obviously, there's like new relationships formed. The daughter meets a little boy, the mom hates the little boy, the mom is now falling in love with somebody. It's just an amazing, amazing book. It has really heartbreaking moments and really powerful, fulfilling moments, and it left me feeling really happy at the end. It was just like it came together amazingly. So I really, really liked Regarding You. I feel like not a lot of people talked about this book, and I would also recommend this one a lot. I give this a 5 out of 5 stars. I read this in like literally 4 hours. I feel like it's not too deep of a read, but it also has some like depth and some good moments to it, but it's an amazing book. Colleen Hoover is an amazing author, and she did it once again with this book. We're switching authors again. This is Taylor Jenkins Reid with Daisy Jones and the Six. This was so amazing. This was unlike anything I've ever read before. This was really recommended through like Book Talk. Book TikTok is like taking over, and I wasn't sure about this novel because normally I like to read something about like love or romance. As you can see from the 2 books I've recommended, they both have like some kind of love and romance between them, and this is not described as a love or romance novel. This is about a rock band in the late 60s and all of their adventures together in the most twisted, dark, insane way. It talks about their crazy partying stories, how they traveled the world, how they were becoming so wildly successful to all these people around them and all their supporters, but deep down they were all struggling so badly with their own insecurities and issues, deep-rooted trauma, all that kind of stuff. But it's told from all the different band members' point of views as well. So it'll go from Billy to Daisy to Warren to Karen, all these different people telling the same story, but all from their own point of view. So as you can see right here, they're telling the same story, but it's like switching. It goes from Billy to Graham to back to Billy. It's really, really cool. I had no idea what to expect with this book, but I was thoroughly entertained and enjoyed reading every single second of it. There is a lot of talk about drug and alcohol abuse, so that is a little bit of trigger as well, but it just goes on to tell about how they each struggled with something while they were on the road achieving their dreams, but still feeling like this emptiness. It's like the pressure of being super famous, but having to still be a father while getting accidentally pregnant on the road, and what to do without feeling comfortable enough to tell your bandmates about how common it was to use drugs and nobody even second guessed it because you just had to do it to be a rock star. It was just one of the things you had to do. So it's an incredible, incredible book. I highly recommend this. Taylor Jenkins Reid is an incredible author as well. She wrote Malibu Rising, and I just bought a new book from her. I can't remember what it's called. I haven't read Malibu Rising, but that's also on my TBR pile. I loved this. I don't know how else I could explain it, but it was so different and so amazing, and I was pleasantly surprised with this. So definitely recommend. Okay, my last 2 books are also Colleen Hoover recommendations, but I'm just obsessed with her, so we're gonna have to deal with it. The first one is Heartbones. I feel like this is also not talked about nearly enough. Obviously, we all know in love, it ends with us. Ugly Love is incredible. November 9th is incredible. Colleen Hoover writes amazing books, but I feel like some of them fly under the radar, and this is one of them. Also, the cover of this book is just so pretty. When I was reading this at work, I had 2 people walk in, and they both told me they loved this book, so I just know that it's a good one. This is about a girl named Bea who comes from a really hard life of poverty. Her mom was a drug addict. It was just a very, very tough life, and she was always resilient and tried to make herself more of it, but she just kept getting pushed down from all these obstacles that were in her way. Eventually, her mom passes away and she has no family left over, so she has to go stay with her dad, who she hasn't talked to in forever, and he lives on this massive island, a super big, nice, expensive house, and she knows absolutely nobody. So she's completely flipping her world around to go live somewhere new. So she's spending the summer at her dad's island house, and through this she creates friends and she finds herself involved with her neighbor who is a boy, and it just goes downhill from there. As you read, you come to realize they have a lot more in common than they both thought. It gets to the point in the book where it's tragic and you feel like, oh my gosh, this is insane. The guy gets in a lot of trouble. Bea's dad and stepmom, who she's living with, tell her that she can no longer be involved with this guy and that she has to go her own way and break away from him, but she still remains loyal to him and she still wants to be with him despite this tragedy. And time goes on, she keeps living, she develops, and they come back together in an amazing, amazing way. I really liked this because it was like teenagers. They're all like 18, 19. They're living in a really cool big island with boats and nice houses and on a beach and everything. It reminded me kind of like We Were Liars. If you've read We Were Liars, this kind of gave me the same vibes. It has so much good character development. I really, really enjoyed seeing all the different characters and how they related to Bea. It starts off kind of dark and then it works its way into a beautiful, happy ending. So I really, really enjoyed Heartbones as well. Colleen Hoover writes an amazing, amazing book. I'm trying not to spoil anything with these because I want you guys to get to the end by yourself, but it's so hard to recommend something when you don't want to give away the end, because then you're like, what's so interesting? But you have to read to find out. Oh, I'm sitting on my feet the whole time. I'm dying. My ankles are crushed. If I sit like this when I'm filming, I look so little, so I have to sit on my ankles to be tall enough, and it really hurts. I'm just gonna squat for now. The last and final book that I'm waiting to recommend is Verity by Colleen Hoover, because this is one of the best, if not the best book she has ever written, in my personal opinion. Verity is an amazing thriller mystery. I really don't know how else to describe it because it's just so amazing. You have to read this. I read this in 4 hours. I started it one night at 8 p.m. and ended it at 12 because I could not put it down. But basically, Verity is about a struggling writer who gets called in to finish the series of a very famous writer who is sick. So she moves into this huge mansion house, and this sick writer who can no longer write the end of her series is like locked up in this room being taken care of by a private nurse, and all that's left in the house is her husband and their kid. She goes through all the notes and the outlines of all this sick writer's stuff to try and finish the end of the story, and when she does, she's uncovering a lot about this writer and their family and like the trauma and craziness behind where she lives in the house. I swear it gets crazier as you keep reading it. There's like the grieving father who has no idea what's happening, and then the kid who keeps telling her like these stories that her mom is telling. The kid is like, my mom is talking to me, my mom is telling you this, but the mom is supposed to be unconscious. Like, it is absolutely crazy, and it just keeps developing and getting more crazy as you read it. I will 100% be rereading this. I read it like 4 months ago and I still think about it, and anytime anybody asks me about Verity, we always have a conversation. Are you team letter or are you team manuscript? I am 100% team manuscript. I think that the mom just wrote the letter to cover herself because she's crazy, but that could be my own personal opinion, and I'm very curious to know what yours is. Verity is a 5-star read. Colleen Hoover is incredible, and she does an amazing job writing mystery thrillers. This was the first mystery thriller that she's ever written, and she's now since come out saying that she's writing another one and coming out with it very soon. So I cannot wait to read this. But those are my 5 current book recommendations that I have enjoyed reading so much. If you guys have any, let me know what you think, and let me know if you want more book videos because I could make so many. So many. I absolutely love reading, and I love sharing what I like to read and hearing you guys' opinions as well. So if you have any authors or books that are similar to any of the ones I recommended, please let me know. I also just made a Goodreads. I never really used it before because I like reading for me, and so I guess a ton of you guys like it too, so I'm sharing it on my Goodreads. Goodreads is basically where you can say like your reviews and opinion of books that you've read. So yes, mine is just Caiti Mackenzie. Go follow it, go check out my reviews. It's a great time over there. That is all for my book recommendations. I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, I'll see you with another book video soon, maybe. Always smile. Thank you for following and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.